Don't miss your chance to win big every week on The Zone. This week on Win Ticket Wednesday, win tickets to Breaking Benjamin in 3 Days Grace, Saturday, September 27th at the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater. Get your tickets now at livenation.com or tune in Wednesday for your chance to win tickets. Listen to The Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. DJ PK, and we're joined once again by Kevin Graham, the irrepressible Kevin Graham. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Happy Friday, first weekend of the NFL. I mean, college football is great. It's 1A, 1B for me in that range. But, man, now we got some, real quality, very good football across the board, because college football, you get some crappy games. So I'm excited. And, by the way, I've been listening, and I know PK is saying this Utah team could be, the best Utah team in the history of Utah football. But I am thinking – and PK knows this because I think he was at the game. In 1869, Rutgers, being a Jersey boy, took on the College of New Jersey in the first college football game. That's 156 years. I think Utah could be the best team in 156 years of college football.
Oh, now you're just playing with us. You don't really. You know
what? They were impressive, man. I mean, I have to give it to you. I mean, Dampier, the offense. I mean, you couldn't have a better start. I was very impressed. But there are three things that Utah has to be aware of: health, because let's face it, they had a bad run of that last year, and that's what put them in the dumps. Coach Winningham and winning, not losing bad games in some of those seasons you watch, except for a couple of them, obviously. There's always a bad loss or two, so you got to avoid that. And third, Kyle Whittingham has to continue to let Jason Beck run the offense as opposed to what he's done to the 9,050 other offensive coordinators he's had in his career where, he clamps down on them and they get too conservative. So if they can keep the offense going like they did, man, and Dampier can stay healthy, look out. I think they will win the Big 12. With BYU, they're pretty impressive too, but we got to see them play a real football team.
Oh, yeah, if Utah can do that, the first loss isn't coming until January, if at all.
Yep. No, I think it's there. I mean, again, we're hyping it up, but there's always that loss, it seems like, so let's see if they can get over the hump and see what they can do. But it was fun to watch them. And then I just saw highlights of Big Bear, and it's just funny. It's kind of like they're kind of like the misfit of like the Island of Misfit Toys and Rudolph. They're kind of like that with our quarterbacks there in Utah because Dampier, I know he's like 5'11", but he looks like he's like 5'6". And then you got Bear, who wears a fullback number and looks like a fullback. So, I mean, not your typical quarterbacks per se, but pretty impressive the way they both played.
Man, you got the hype machine. You got the hype machine all the way up to 11. 10 just isn't loud enough.
You're talking
I watched
number
a lot
of
of college
wins
football
or
this past weekend.
I like that.
Sorry?
I was talking Spinal Tap, but it comes together with the number of wins. Yes.
Yes.
Well, the hype on Utah is so high.
What's that?
The hype on Utah, it's sky high now.
Yeah,
across the country.
I mean, we talked about it last week. I don't know. I mean, you're definitely right. But we said, even though UCLA honestly is really bad, I mean, just watching them play, but because it's UCLA, I think we talked about this last week, if they go out and rock UCLA, they're going to get some hype about them. And, man, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better game because they always have a great defense. I mean, look at all the pros. Look at all the Utah players in the pros. I mean, that's an obvious. It's just they never had a consistent offense. So if they can have a good offense and stay healthy and Whittingham lets Jason Beck continue to run the offense, then there's a good chance that they can – at least playoff bound, at least winning the Big 12. And then once you get in the playoffs now, you never know what's going to happen.
Amen, brother. Preach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm not counting BYU out either. They look good. But now they got to flip this weekend. BYU has to do what Utah did last week. Now BYU's playing a team that sucks, in the ACC now, which is still so weird. And they got to rock Stanford. They got to go out and just blow them out because they're a lower rung Power 4 team. If you're going to be a big boy, in the Power 4, you got to roll these teams. So they have to do that. And then Utah has to do what BYU did to Portland State last week and just put this game out of place, in the first quarter and then get their subs in and stay healthy.
Well, what Utah has to do, because you're always competing with BYU, they need to beat Cal Poly SOL 70-0.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. If they don't, it's a failure of a game.
Right,
Totally.
100%. Oh, yeah, I'm going to backtrack everything I ever said about this team because BYU beat, I don't remember, Portland, something or other. They beat them 69-0. So Utah has to up
they
the
ante. They got to win by a point.
Yeah.
I know.
Portland
I think they can
something
do that.
or other.
Right. I don't know. What were they in Maine or Oregon? I don't know. Which one? Oregon or Maine?
If they can't play any better than that, they need to move to Maine.
So they're
Oregon will banish them.
By the way, PK.
What?
Yeah. By the way, it's Oregon. I don't know if you. I'm sure you're aware of that. I mean, the Midwest they say Oregon, but if you go to Oregon, they say Oregon.
I never go to Oregon. You've been to Oregon lately? Come on.
I drove up the Oregon coast last summer. It was nice. It's a pretty state. I would never live there, but it was cool. Yeah, too expensive.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Crazy stuff happening there.
Were you outraged that the NFL opener was marred by a spitting incident right at the very start of the game? I thought that'd be the number one thing you came on complaining about.
Well, no, I was trying to roll, try to help,
Had a kid roll with our local colleges. Look at you.
Yeah, exactly. Try to catch listeners before I go into NFL mode. Yes, I was a little shocked. I mean, it's just dumb. And then, of course, the video comes out later as the game goes on, and Dak spat first. And it's like, well, he didn't spit on him. I mean, if anything, he might have hit his own teammate. I mean, so, no, I mean, it was dumb, and it impacted the game because, I mean, that guy's a force for the Eagles defense. And so they take him out of the fold, and then suddenly they don't have to worry about him, and the Cowboy offense actually looked pretty good. And really, I thought they had a really legitimate chance to win until, of course, CeeDee Lamb couldn't catch key passes as the game went along. And I think, like you said last hour, everything changed when they had the hour plus lightning delay or rain delay or whatever. I don't know. Am I old, guys? And yes. I am old. Yes, this is back in my day. I remember when I was playing football, like Pee Wee football, because when you're the slowest and smallest guy on a team, you're not really going to play in high school. I remember playing in rain and lightning, and as long as the lightning wasn't right on top of us, I don't know if you guys remember this. If it was like 30 miles away, we continued to play. So I don't, but whatever. I know we're a softer society now, and nobody wants to get, even though like 1 in 100,000 people get struck by lightning or something. So, but anyways, I thought that kind of ruined the flow of the game, and then obviously the Eagles hung on at that point. But I thought Jalen Hurts looked really impressive to me. Saquon Barkley's still going to be just an absolute stud, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to be as bad as they are. I mean, I was actually impressed by the Cowboys. I actually think maybe Micah Parsons could have helped possibly in containing Jalen Hurts when he was running the ball around. But overall, I thought the Cowboys actually were performed better than I actually expected in that game. So, and the Eagles, I thought in some ways performed worse because they had a lot of penalties and seemed to keep shooting themselves in the foot. But like we saw in week 1 and week 0 of college football, there's still going to be mistakes made, and it takes, I think, a week or two for teams to really crisp up and start playing a little cleaner brand of football. Unless you're the Jets, and then you're always going to suck.
Yeah, I think that's the NFL, man. I don't know that teams even want to be playing their best ball in September. The season is so long. I just used my fingers earlier in the show and counted how long we have. And we have 5 full months before we even get to a winner. So it is in a sense, it's like just play the game and don't get too high, don't get too low, because there's so much left to happen. So if I'm the Cowboys, obviously you want to win. I get that. That's the number one objective every time you play the game, obviously. And to me, I thought they showed well enough that they look like they can have stuff to build on.
Yeah, no, I think there's something there. I mean, Brian Schottenheimer, he's more of an offensive guy, and I thought the offense, looked pretty productive. I didn't think the defense was terrible. So, but that was a reasonable take, PK. But again, it's the NFL, so yeah, it's a long season. But in an overreaction society and world we live in now, we're going to totally just overreact for every game. So, if the Jets go out, my Jets taking on the Steelers, if they go out and get blown out, it's like the season's over. We're jinxed. We're going to suck for the rest of the year, even if they turn around and get to 7-10, which is what I would be actually happy with. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Chiefs and Chargers tonight in Brazil. You got one of them winning the division. You going with Denver? They had 3 playoff teams in that division last year.
No, I'm not taking that. It's Kansas City's throne until someone knocks them off. But I will be curious to see how this game goes tonight. I like the Chargers. Obviously, I don't like them as much since Slater got hurt. They're starting offensive tackle because obviously that offense is predicated on the run. That's what Jim Harbaugh likes to do. Kansas City, I'm just curious how they come off after the blowout. Are they going to have a hangover and kind of is this finally kind of where the kingdom starts to crumble a little bit, or are they going to come out ticked off? Is Jason Kelsey, in shape? Is Jason Kelsey, able to get over the engagement with Taylor and actually focus on football? So we'll see. I think, again, as PK said earlier, it's week one, so you can't overreact to it. But I am curious to see how the Chiefs come out and if they win this game, because when I think NFL football, I think playing NFL football in Brazil. So a new tradition happening. I'm really excited for that as well. I'm gonna go to a Brazilian steakhouse, I guess, before the game or something.
Nice.
They still have those in Salt Lake. There was a good one in downtown I used to go to when I was living there multiple times.
No, they said, man, if Kevin Graham leaves, we're leaving too. They shut it down.
Braza Grill packed up and hit the road.
It's all boarded up. And then
those places are the great, man. You get a meat coma there. You just keep keeping the green thing up, and they just keep delivering the meat, man.
Well,
I used to go there, and I'd have literally like a pound of meat just sitting on my plate because I would never turn the little green-red thing over. I just let them keep delivering. Oh, it was tremendous.
I think that's still the pregame meal for BYU, right?
Is it?
Yeah,
oh,
Tucanos. That's Brazilian,
okay.
isn't it? Yeah. They've been doing that for a number of years now. Yeah.
Nice. There you go.
It is. It is really good.
Everybody looks forward to it. I was talking to media members about it last week, and they're like, "Yeah, it's going to be a terrible game, but that pregame meal is going to be awesome."
I look forward to it on October 18th when the Utes go to Provo to play BYU, and that'll be.
Can't wait. And that's going to be so fun.
We're looking for both teams to potentially be undefeated. I don't know if it'll happen, but from a story standpoint and radio standpoint, all of us would enjoy that to be. I'm not sure, was it about 6? Oh, I know what it was. Yeah, that'll be the 7th game for the Cougars because they showed they were serious with the Retzlaff suspension, and it just so happened to be 7 games of suspension, and that 7th game was BYU Utah. Not 6, not 8, not anything, but 7. They hit it right on the button there, right on the head that he would miss that game, and they sent it. Obviously, he took off, and away we are here in that situation.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure the honor code office didn't look at that at all. It was just a random thing.
Well, maybe it just was a coincidence. I don't know. But nevertheless, and so obviously here locally, the big intrigue is not so much with Utah. They just flipped it. Last week it was Utah. This week it's BYU. And we've decided that I call him the Grizzly Bear Bachmeier. And the Grizz is great. And I've been telling BYU to go ahead and use that. And don't worry about it. I don't need any subsidiaries or what do they call that stuff? Not subsidiary.
Trademark it. You should trademark it, PK.
Yeah.
That's what everybody does now.
Yeah. I've never been a money guy like my cohort here. It's just simple guy, just the basics, and I'm good to go, Remember, I don't know if you heard, but there was one time he was bragging about the size of his television. Can you believe that?
I got a big TV.
Really? No.
Yeah, listen to it. He'll play it for you right now. Say it again,
I got a big
I got a big TV.
Yeah, he tells us he has a big TV. Who would do that?
Remember that? Guys like him and our old friend. Remember our old friend Gordon Monson? He used to say, "I have a nice car." BK has DJ has a big TV. Yeah, I mean, I know, I get it, man. They're legends, man. Those guys are the true legends and media darlings, of Salt Lake City. People like PK, like you and I, we're the outlaws, man. We were always we were always kind of the overshadowed too. So
I have a nice car.
We grinded. We were grinded.
The only thing.
Wow, dusted that one off, Yock.
Work.
Dusted
Good
that.
work.
There had to be some spider webs on that thing.
I would make the word car plural, and I would put fleet in front of it.
Yes. I don't know if that's when he had his sporty, $85,000 Audi that Jazz NBA players would be an all over at practice, or his 911 Porsche. I can't remember which one that was for, but yeah. We love you, Gordon, if you're listening.
They give them away for Christmas, man.
That's right.
Each kid has a couple of cars.
I know. This is not inside at all, by the way. This is great. I love it.
All right, we're out of time, but Kevin.
Really?
Yeah.
We didn't even talk any NFL, really. We only talked like 2 games.
Well, you'd rather make fun of me. That's fine. So
Sunday night's a
now
good
it's hurt.
game.
No.
I've lived in Utah too long. I don't know what to tell you.
He says he's lived in Utah too long, whereas Kevin, I haven't lived in Utah long enough.
Yeah.
The beauty of the
Yes.
state and its people, I want more of. He's running around telling people he's lived here too long. That's a difference.
I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you after the show, Kevin, and I'm going to tell you a story about PK and Money, where he totally outfoxed an ex-boss of ours, and the guy didn't even know he was done and dusted. It was epic. PK, you hear about people that, he's always a step ahead. PK was a mile and a half ahead in the marathon.
I share confidential stuff with you and you broadcast it on the internet now.
That's great. Always keep it between us. So I'm glad, as a program director, had to negotiate with a lot of high-profile talent. I never had to negotiate with PK, and actually PK would be the one I would be scared the most to have to try to do because he's clever, man. He could figure that stuff out.
Ways.
So
the wily ways.
Yeah, I know. All right, well, good. Well, hey, I hope everybody has a great NFL weekend. Breaking it down. So some great games this weekend. Enjoy. Follow me on K-Gram Content, and I will share some of my bets and then bet the opposite because I lose all the time. But don't bet a lot, everybody. If you can even bet, because the state of Utah, it's illegal. Sorry.
People right now are tweeting pictures of.
What are they doing? What are they
like
saying?
10 pounds of meat being roasted and shouting out Tucanos and Rodizio. Comparing different Tucanos locations. This one's better than that one. Look what you've started, Kevin. Look what you've started.
I know, man. I'm telling you, the greatest creation of food. If that's the way all Brazilian food is, you just go and I've never been to Brazil. You walk in and they hand you a plate of meat, man. I think I'm going to retire there. I think that would be awesome. So,
all right, Kevin. Thank you. All right.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. David Locke, radio voice of Utah Jazz, joins us next. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Utes, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. After a season-opening battle at UCLA, the Utes return home to the Hill for a battle against Cal Poly. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Utah football. Then catch college football Saturday, game day at 10 a.m. with a post-game show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com.
Let's go then. Let's go, baby.
Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
People are spending the whole break laughing at Kevin Graham and eating 17 pounds of meat at one sitting. From Parks and Rec, you know what? I'm going to have that third steak after all. Ron Swanson was quite the character.
Plus, he's a little guy. I don't know that he can do that.
I know, right? Kevin just can't put
Not
that
a
away.
big, beefy offensive lineman.
Can't eat his own weight there in Brazilian delicacies.
Yeah. The phrase "all you can eat" just makes me queasy. Like, why would you want to do that in the first place?
That might sound good to you, but you try it one time and you'll end up with regrets.
We had a couple guys in the dorms at NAU, and I remember they made this bet to this guy to eat whatever. It's, just all this. And he did that. And I can remember him walking back from where they were on the second floor of the Babbitt Hall on the campus in northern Arizona. And he looked like he couldn't even walk. And it was just, why would you do that? It just make me, and at that age, nobody has good discretion. But even I knew that was stupid.
You had problems finding the line at that age, but you found that one?
Yes.
Don't cross that line.
Yes.
It's like,
He got
a million
all
other
sick.
lines I can't see at all.
Right, but I mean, it didn't seem fun. At least if you're going to do something tawdry,
You think there'd be some kind of short-term reward, right?
Right.
And you should be more mature and figure out the long-term reward, but you can't because you're a teenager and you're an idiot, right?
Right, exactly. I just remember he did that. How stupid was that?
DJ PK, and we're joined now by David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz. David, good morning.
Good morning, David, James, Patrick, and my Friday is complete. My week is better. It is an uplifting experience to get to chat with you each and every week. Fired up, and despite the fact that everyone's absorbed by football, we're like 24 days away from Media Day. Going to be fun.
Yeah. That was one of the things that we thought we would hit you up on normally at this time of year, that the band is back together. The teams are in their respective cities, and they're working out on their own together at the practice facility. And with this in mind, do we expect any moves still from the Jazz? Because they got a couple of veterans that may not appear to fit in, but we're getting late in the process, so I can assume that they're probably going to be there at Media Day.
But that's interesting. I think the veterans all fit. Who do you think doesn't fit?
Well, the timeline I'm talking about, what does Kevin Love add to helping the team? I mean, I'm just looking at where they are in their stage of their careers and what they're looking for.
Kevin Love actually, okay, yes. So I agree on Kevin Love. But, Kevin Love's uncles had a house in Park City for years. Kevin Love spent, 2 or 3 of his off seasons in Park City. I agree on Kevin Love, but there might be a chance that Kevin Love has gone to the Jazz and said, no, I'm cool with this.
Yeah, fine.
I don't know that for a fact, but I would agree with you that as of Kevin Love, in my head, actually, I 100% agree with you. I actually just kind of spaced. Is the one who I did not think would be on the roster at this point in time. The fact that he still is on the roster at this point in time does make me wonder whether he actually might have gone to the organization and said, hey, actually, I'm cool with this. I got it. I know where I am. I enjoy it. And then if that's the case, and I don't know this, I'm totally making this up, which is really good journalism, by the way. I don't know if you guys are new to the business, so I don't know if you want – so
you still have an opportunity to stop, David. You could stop right here and not throw out whatever it is.
He can't.
I can't, actually. So, David, let me just tell you something as a young journalist. If you go on Channel 2 tonight in that new job you have and you say, I'm totally making this up, I would generally think that would be a really bad career move. So I would, and in PK, with your extensive writing, I'm assuming you're going to write a novel here at some point, and also writing at KSL. If you were to lead with, hey, I'm totally making this up, despite the fact that seems to be what a lot of people do all the time, I would suggest not doing that. So let me continue in totally making this story up in my head.
Okay.
If the totally made-up story that I just gave you that has no validity at all, no background knowledge, and nothing at all, is in any way, shape, or form true, there could not be maybe a better veteran in the NBA than Kevin Love to be around your young players. He's been open about mental health stuff. He's been on championship teams. He's been on not good teams. He's played with LeBron. He's played with other players. He's seen players develop. He's been in Miami and seen that culture. I'm not actually a believer in veteran leadership because I actually watched a veteran stand next to one of our players for an entire year and remind him that at the end of the year he was a free agent and he should go get his, and it's all about him, and the organization will screw him eventually, and literally watched this take place for 12 months and then wasn't surprised with the outcome, because that was what veteran leadership was, which is actually probably pretty good veteran leadership, because the veteran leadership is to the player, not the organization. But Kevin Love, if in fact he does stay with Utah, which I would be surprised and am surprised he's still on the roster, there might not be a better veteran considering his life experiences than Kevin Love. So it'd be cool if my made-up story is true.
I was going to say Nurkic just because I liked him early in his career, and PK used to tease me about that. But he's had multiple injuries, and I don't think he's ever come back from the compound fracture of his leg. In the last 5 years, his numbers, I mean, he's just struggled to even play and stay on the court. And so he's 31, so the timeline doesn't match, and he's an old 31 because of the injuries. But maybe they can't move him because of those things.
So I actually go the other way on Nurkic. I actually just finished Locked on Jazz, in which I said I think Nurkic will end up playing this year. There is a level where I think you have to have some viability out on the floor. And I think Nurkic gives you some of that viability. Like, he knows how to play. He lets you play a structure. His drop big defense has never been the same, as you mentioned correctly, since his injury. But I still think that, he gives you he can move the ball. He's a good passer. He can score if you need to. He does everything right. He knows how to play. I actually think he'll play. I think he'll play more than Jazz fans want him to. I'm not sure he'll start the year there. But if I'm just not convinced that Kyle Filipowski is a 5. Now, maybe we're going to find a way to play Kyle Filipowski as a 5 because we play a lineup that's Lowry, Taylor Hendricks, and Kyle Filipowski, and they're all just so long, and you interchange 1 through 5, and he's not really playing 5, and you can get away with it. I'm pretty certain that's where we'll start the year, trying to get there. But I don't know that I think that Kyle Filipowski can play 5 very well, and I think Nurkic will end up playing a decent amount of 5 this year. And I actually think Nurkic is, as a backup center in the NBA, I think Nurkic will be fine. And actually, we're not going to win games, but you still have to have enough semblance of order on the basketball floor that everyone can develop. That's the point of the year. And if it's just a mess, it doesn't do anyone any good. And Nurkic will bring some semblance of order to the team, I think.
Do you think the Jazz and the management have already scoped this out? Because you got to be careful. You don't want some veterans whining with all the losing. You can take like a John Collins who seemed to understand the situation and was trying to make the best of it, and obviously he's gone now. So you don't want to mess up, even though you're going to lose, as we say.
That's how I made up my story. Is that I would be, and maybe we're going to get to September 29th media day, and Kevin Love's not going to be here, right? But if Kevin Love is here on September 29th, and Kyle Anderson's here on September 29th, which I fully expect, and Yusuf Nurkic is here on September 29th, or I think that's the Monday, that I think is media day. But, when camp starts, then I 100% promise you there's been conversations that have been had between the player and the front office about the season, the expectations, what's going on, and what their role is and what they should anticipate. The same way there was with Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills last year, and they were terrific. So I think when Patty Mills left, you actually really felt it, which was interesting. And a little bit when Drew Eubanks left, you really felt it too. So I think, yes, 100% those conversations are had, and the front office is in communication with those players, and they know what's going on. And also, if you're not communicating with them, they're not idiots. They can look around and know what's going on too. It's not really that hard to see.
And I think to your point that maybe these guys, or maybe who knows what moves could be made now between now and the start of camp. I thought the Donovan Mitchell move was predictable because he was such a big personality. It had been such a thing that it really they needed emotionally to move on from that. But I don't think anybody that we're talking about here has that big a personality, carries that level of emotion inside the club, if for no other reason than they're brand new to it. So I don't know if there's the pressure on it to make a move. So whether a move may not come, but if it does come, I don't know if it matters if it comes in mid-September, mid-October, whatever.
Yeah, Kyle Anderson last year played 16 minutes a game, and the year prior he played 23, and the year before that he played 28. So the writing is a little bit on the wall of where this is going. On the other end, Kyle Anderson's still really a pretty good player, and I'm sure he doesn't want to play zero. So it's not the easiest thing in the world. I don't think he wants his career to end at 32 years old, being put out to pasture in Utah. So you have to navigate this veteran thing in a manner. Kevin Love is much older than that. I think Kevin Love's 38 at this point. Is that right? His body. Kevin Love's body. 30. Yeah, Kevin. Oh, happy birthday to Kevin Love tomorrow or the next day.
Or the day after that. Whatever.
Yeah, like September 7th. Big happy birthday to Kevin Love. Really, we might want to do a specialty program on Sunday.
Call me.
So, I think it's pretty clear. He was down to 11 minutes a night last year in 23 games for Miami. I think it's pretty clear where his career is. So, and he's had a hell of a career, right? He's 5-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champ. He's borderline. I don't think he's Hall of Fame, but he's borderline.
Just for old time's sake, you going to make a trip to Provo to see Stanford play BYU? I know you've written them off here in the ACC era.
I'm not.
David.
Oh, you can at least watch the game.
When is it?
Oh, come on.
Wow.
Here's how I knew that BYU was playing Stanford is that I got a call last night from Mark Jones and talked to Mark Jones for a while, who's calling the game for ESPN. And he was like, I just thought of you because I was driving to Provo. And I'm like, why are you driving to Provo? He's like, Stanford, BYU. I was like, oh, that's how I found out about the game.
8:15 on ESPN. You can watch your guy, Mark.
He's really good, by the way.
If Stanford had made the playoff last year, you'd know darn well that they play in Provo tonight, or tomorrow night, I should say.
I mean, hey, for all of our conversations you and I have had, and I'm sure you've had 2,300 other one of these conversations, Texas-Ohio State's the highest viewed college football game, like, in years, right? Like 25 years or something. So,
yeah, but they're also finally counting. I mean, they're changing the way they count. And it's more accurate, I think, count all the people watch outside the home. I mean, but Buffalo Wild Wings is still open. There are people watching outside the home.
Right. And if they're counting streaming, so.
And they're counting streaming, right. Yeah.
Been streaming for a while, so yeah, I agree.
There's people sitting at their kids' games looking on their phone because their kid's not playing right now. And what am I watching this? I don't need to watch other people's kids. I'm watching Texas. Right. I'm watching Ohio State.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, but I would say that the early indicator is that all this doom and gloom of the end of, and the way I sound about, I'm backing up PK's point. It's not comfortable, but I'm backing it up.
You hate yourself for it, but you're doing it anyway?
I'm making crap up. I'm backing PK. It's a bad day in the Locke household right now. Things are not going my direction. Jeez Louise, this might be the beginning of the end when they look back on it.
So what is your point to back me up?
That clearly people are still watching, and I guess if Stanford was in the playoff last year and they were good, I would somehow decide that. I mean, honestly, Stanford BYU this time of year should be just as interesting as it ever was.
True.
If Stanford Wake Forest or Stanford Clemson or Stanford Florida State, that would have been UCLA, Washington, Cal, and the conference play is what's just so utterly uninteresting to me. As a fan, because that's just taken away whatever all history I have. So I haven't tuned in. But you're right. I mean, in the sense that if Stanford was 11-1 or ranked 10th, I'm sure I would tune in a little. I don't think I would tune in the same way. There's no question on that.
Well, the breakup of the Pac-12 hits everybody hard. So that part we get. And the fact that your team is bad, also, we get that. Fans tend to back away from bad teams. And then I think it's really unusual. Stanford, we just haven't seen where someone names months before the season starts an interim coach is going to be there for 1 year. It's like, why am I going to get invested in this when everything's going to change with whoever it is they bring in a year from now?
Yeah, but I think Stanford's a little different in that you're recruiting academically. When they say it's an academics thing for Stanford, it's like there's few institutions that can really claim that these days, and Stanford is one of them, which might be to their detriment. Because I think
it is.
Yeah, because
they believe the myth. They believe the myth a little bit.
Yeah,
and when you believe a myth, you're in trouble.
Teams have been strengthened through transfers, and this year Stanford took 17, which is the most. If you add up, we've been doing this immediate transfer thing now 3 years or so, 4 years, whatever it is. If you add that up, they didn't take 17 transfers in all the prior years. The year before, they only took 4. They took 4. So, 21, every team takes 20. Texas Tech paid over $10 million just for their transfer class in 2025. So Stanford's got to figure out, where are we going with this? What do we want? And what are we looking for?
The problem Stanford has is that none of their alumni is done very well, and so they really don't have any financial resources or anyone with any wealth that follows that team to be able to support them at all.
They're the one there where the NIL should come in stock instead of cash.
Seriously.
They ought to just hand out businesses.
Some real value. Hand out there. You get a business. You get a business.
And we'll provide you with all the supplementary people to run this business to make millions and billions.
I just really feel sorry for the athletic director and the whole program there, because there's no chance they have any infrastructure of donors or wealth that can help them out.
I was on Stanford's campus for 4 days once a few years back, and I had some downtime while I was up there, and I would walk around the campus and see the cars, and wow, all the fancy cars that are just there in a parking lot. It's just amazing. And David Shaw did that. He sent out brochures of this is what you'll make if you come to Stanford versus this is what you'll make at, and he listed the other institutions. The other institutions in the Pac-12 got all mad at him. Yeah. But he was right, man. I mean, it's just.
And what did he care if Oregon State was mad at him?
Right.
Take that, U of A.
Yeah.
The other thing that they did then that probably just has no value now is they identified one of their recruiting things that was done by a guy who Anderson was his last name. He actually has a BYU tie to him. I can't think of who it is now.
Lance Anderson.
He's at Utah Tech as the head coach now.
Yeah.
Okay. So what he spearheaded was they went and identified these kids early, in maybe 9th, 10th grade, and basically laid out the academic plan for them that they had to have to get into Stanford. Mm-hmm. And so that then by the time it was time for them to commit, they'd already kind of committed by committing to this academic plan, right? They actually were already in. They put in this effort, and so then they got every kid they wanted during that process. And I'm not sure the landscape would allow them to do that again. They also don't have a fan base, right? Like let's just be totally honest. Like, I happen to run a company that chooses what schools are going to get daily podcasts. Well, Cal and Stanford are two of the only Power 4 programs we have that don't have one. We have a Vanderbilt show. We don't have a Stanford and Cal show. There's no one out there that's going to listen.
And there it is. Exactly. That's why PK sat in the press box and could pick out individual Ute fans and see which ones were friends or family or whatever sitting in the other side of the stadium during TV timeouts.
And that's where he had the first ever Coldplay moment. Like, PK was exposing people back. Oh, wait, that's
nice. Basically, what we saw was people spread across like 5 chairs, an arm flung out, legs over the row in front of them, just hanging out by themselves.
I could pick out my wife and the friends that came to the game, the Ute fans that are friends of ours that came to the game. I knew exactly where they were sitting because, I mean, you could practically count, and it's been that way for a good while, so that's the downside of it.
When I was a kid, it was awesome. You'd run over there in your AYSO jersey and your soccer cleats still on, might even still had your shin guards on, and you ran around the wood bleachers, and you didn't have to worry about ever sitting still, and you just bounced from one section to another the whole time, finding friends and eating carnation malts. It was awesome. With wooden spoons, baby. Like, that is Americana right there.
There it is. Now you're talking.
Oh, you can't replace that memory. I can see why you're turned off.
You're so sweet when you're mocking.
It's true. He is. All right, David, we will let you go. You are free of this horror chamber for another week.
What do you guys do when you have guests on the show that don't realize what a high level of aptitude they have to be prepared for the witty back and forth with Patrick Kinahan and David James, and they come on just like thinking it's a normal show, not realizing the Hall of Fame talent that they have to interact with and how quick and sharp. Like, I am more ready for the day on Fridays at 9 a.m. than any other time in the week because I have been pushed to my limit intellectually by the two of you. What do you do when you get people that are prepared for such?
Shorten the interview, pass them to another show.
Well, you take an elephant and a rhino. What do you got? Elephino.
We have some high-end guests. Go wherever you get your podcast, David. Go listen to Barry Trammell. He's our Big 12 guru from Oklahoma. PK found him. I think you did. Did Jay?
Yeah.
I thought it was you. Yeah.
I know Barry.
Yeah. And so he came on and was excellent. His Barry Switzer stories, spectacular. Great interview. You should listen to it every week. He's got good stuff to say about the Big 12, and he usually has 1 or 2 stories that are A, ridiculous, and B, hilarious.
Sounds great. Yep. Only after I finish listening to Jake Hatch to get on my BYU news.
Okay, there you go. Nice plug.
Gotta give my guy Jake a little plug right there.
There you go. Yeah. All right, thank you, David.
Talk to you guys. See you. You're the best.
Okay, see ya. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
You've been listening to The Zone for decades. Yes! But now you can watch the guys break down your favorite teams.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Catch the video stream of DJ and PK, Jake and Ben, Hanson, Scotty, and JJ and Alex right now at KSLSports.com or by searching KSL Sports on YouTube. Utah's best sports radio is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Hercules First Federal Credit Union Salt Lake County High School Player of the Week this week is Corner Canyon High School quarterback Helaman Kasuga. Kasuga passed for 342 yards and 4 touchdown passes while running for 2 more touchdowns as the Chargers blew out Fremont 67-21 last Friday. Don't miss the KSL Sports Game Night Live Game of the Week this week as the Lone Peak Knights face the Bishop Gorman Gales. You can catch the action tonight on KSLSports.com, the KSL Sports app, or here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Salt Lake County Player of the Week Award is proudly presented by Hercules First Federal Credit Union. At Hercules, they're celebrating the everyday victories. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together.
Way to enunciate.
I got a job to do. Don't be just sitting there in the peanut gallery taking shots at me.
DJ and PK, the question of the day. We actually have multiple questions up. Ron McBride's going into the Utah Football Ring of Honor on Saturday. What is his legacy? We're also looking for bold predictions for this week. There's 2 things everyone's saying about Mac. 34-31 and foundational. Game changer.
And, that only tells a part of it, too. And I thought Kyle did it well, and he knew what I was looking for, and he gave the answer and then asked me, is that good enough? And I gave him the thumbs up, right? And Ron McBride is a pillar of the community. It's great that he did great success for the Utah football program, but that's like a portion of what Ron McBride has done for so many people throughout the years in the community. I mean, he in a sense, he is the football version of Frank Layden.
Yeah, I can see your comparison there. Absolutely. He's never given up football, which Kyle referenced briefly in his answer. Right. He goes and works out individual kids. He can't remember anybody's name, or he doesn't want to mispronounce somebody's name. So he'll always tell you, the D lineman at West, the linebacker at Davis. But like encyclopedic knowledge of and he's right. You go talk to somebody else, and Mac's spot on. And he either goes to their practices or he goes and works them out. And depending, he pretty much has ties at all of the schools. So you could see him at any practice, at the schools you're allowed to go to practice.
Oh, he's welcome everywhere.
Yeah, he's welcome at it. The media you might see him walk by because you're around the corner and you're not allowed in, but you might see him walk by because he's been in there for the last hour and a half and he's taken off now. So he knows he's dialed in there. And his foundation gave like $400,000 to support after-school programs around the state, multiple school districts. And he's out raising that money. And sometimes there's a figurehead and the board does all the work. And sometimes it's mixed. But he's in the middle of everything. I mean, he has board members who do a lot of work. But Mac has personal relationships with the people who are giving the money. He goes out before he gives schools money. He meets the principal. And I've heard him. I've heard him with some pretty pithy analysis. He doesn't fall in love with everyone he meets, and he doesn't give money to everyone he meets. But he wants to support the people that he thinks are really doing well.
Sure.
And he does all of that, and he's 85.
He is.
Not slowing down. Yep. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. When we come back, a lot of you weighing in bold predictions for the weekend. That's next. Stay with us.